Carl and Dan here from Games, Brains and Headbang Live, gbhblofficial.com for short. And we're talking Bloodstock, except I'm not talking. You've heard me talk. You've heard me talk a lot. You've heard me talk with Brendan. In fact, most recently, we did a near 3-hour fucking video when me and Brendan talked. Oh. Yeah, no, we did. We started that video on the basis of we'll run through the lineup. We'll talk about some of the things that we really are hoping. It was 5 things that we never want to change about the festival and 5 things we think would be good to change in the future. It was supposed to be half an hour, 40 minutes at most, 2.5 hours. Yeah. We were like, oh, we're still going.
Okay.
We're not doing that. No, this is going to be a bit tighter because what I wanted to do was I realized I've talked about Bloodstock quite a bit. Brendan's talked about Bloodstock quite a bit. Lou's been in videos and stuff like that. You've been in some videos, but what we've never really done is to take your specific perspective about certain things because I've been going to Bloodstock since 2014. However, your first Bloodstock was 2018, your second was 2019, and your third will be, no, that's wrong, isn't it? 2019.
Yeah, 2019 last year, and then this year's my third.
Skipping that year, yeah. 2019 first, 2021 second, and 2022 will be your third appearance go at this festival. And basically,
it should be my fourth, but yeah, alas, 2020.
What you're going to do exactly. What I'm going to be doing is basically throwing some questions at you in regards to opinion and certain things, and not just from a fairly modern Bloodstock attendee, but also from a younger perspective as well. You are one on the younger side of an audience that goes to a festival like this, being age 19, whereas obviously I'm closer to 40 than I am 30. So you know,
you are.
I know. Trust me, I can't quite believe it myself. But so it's just really just to kind of see it from your perspective more than anything else. So we're just going to throw off, and I want to keep it positive, really. I want it, your positive experience more than anything else. What's considering your taste in music doesn't always line up with the Bloodstock sort of makeup, so to speak. What's the major appeal for you to go to Bloodstock?
I think festival experience as a whole, really, you know what I mean? The kind of the vibes you get 4 or 5 days of sleeping in a shitty little tent, drinking lots, obviously. And as well, for me, I often kind of find stuff that I end up liking. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, but like there's a lot of bands. I would say the main stage is fairly disappointing for me. The Sophie stage, though. Oh.
We will get to the music in a minute. We will get to the band specifically as well, because that was obviously an area I do want to pick your brains. But let's talk about some of your experiences over the past few years, particularly as ultimately Bloodstock, like based off the map and all that, we're not going to see some seismic shifts in the setup or how it is. So you can pretty much almost picture exactly where and how you're going to be. What are some of your strongest memories of the previous sort of times you've been?
It sounds kind of weird, but just like, so obviously I sometimes just kind of split off from everybody else and do my own thing for a bit, and I quite enjoy that. Just like walking around on my own, kind of seeing different bands that I've never heard of before. Sometimes like New Blood, just sitting in the back, kind of watching a band, half paying attention. Sometimes that can be really, really nice, just to be like, I've got this playing in the background, and then if like, oh, that was quite nice, I'll stand up and get a bit closer, that sort of thing. It is much for me about experimentation and hearing new things as it is. As well, the festival's quite small. Yep. I noticed this. We went to Slam Dunk and I was like, fucking hell, this is massive. I spent half the day walking around trying to get to different stages because there was still that Slam Dunk is much more like, oh, I need to see a lot of this.
Yes.
Whereas Bloodstock for me is a bit like, I can go see some of that.
Is that quite nice then? That fact that you don't have this whole, there are 50 bands I want to see, and that means you can kind of have a more relaxed approach to it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think actually this year there is more for me to see. In terms of band, I'm not like listening to when I go home, but I'm like, I'd go watch a bit of that. Like bands I've heard of, and I'm like, yeah, I can say that I've seen them.
Is that something that's been kind of cool though? Considering, I know it's obviously when it comes down to personal taste and what you've enjoyed musically, it doesn't always necessarily matter when it comes to a band that might be a bucket list band, so to speak, or a band you've never seen live. When you think back to 2019 and 2021, what are some of the bands that you can think of the top of your head that you were like, oh, they weren't for me, but I'm glad I saw them.
Oh man, I can't remember anything from 2019. There was one Lost in Lavender Town, and I really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
I think I was at like Barrier for that, and I was just enjoying it. I was just watching it, and I was like, these guys are cool. I try. There was 2019. I was so out of my depth. I had no idea who anybody was apart from like Parkway Drive, who were one of the headliners. And I just think I just balled around and just watched whatever was on. Last year there was a fair bit more for me.
Yeah.
I'm getting very drunk on the Saturday. Obviously, it's changed a bit now. I can actually go and buy my own drinks.
Yes, indeed.
I can't remember much from that Saturday.
That was Crater as the headliner night. Yeah, I think I was pretty.
Yeah, no, I was in bed by the headliners, man. I was so because obviously, like While She Sleeps were the main band for me that day.
Of course,
they were great.
For them, what about the aspect of Bloodstock where it comes to sort of the more charity things? So, like where Mind are involved, where the Sophie Lancaster Foundation are involved. How do you feel about that sort of things? Positive?
I mean, I support it all, of course, and I'm really happy to see. I really like the name of the Sophie stage.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. It's because obviously it's an issue that needs to be dealt with. And by bringing attention to it in such a big way, by having your second main stage being named it, and obviously you've got the stalls where you can directly support these charities is really nice. And I think it's a good thing to have.
Yeah, I agree with you on that as well. I'm glad to hear that thing. What about some of the sort of more extraneous things about the festivals before we get into some of the music aspects kind of things? Do you find yourself spending a lot of time amongst the shops, the fairground rides and things like that?
Not really the rides. I mean, I'd like to try someone at some point. Why not? You know. I think it would depend on who like I was with. If I like one year had like a friend come with me or something, that'd be something I'd do with them.
I'm your friend, Dick.
And my dad. But obviously, yeah. I mean, if you want to go bumper cars.
Yeah, I've got a bugbear on a fairground ride. But carry on, yeah. What about the shops?
No, I do have a look around them. I think the ones in the middle, like just right next to the Jägermeister stage, are all a bit tacky and shit. I do take quite a bit of joy in like the really shit. You know, like when you go into like Camden markets and you've got the really, really shit hoodies. I do like just point and laugh at them. Like, yeah,
with like wolves and stuff like that, and
yeah, like the
bikes and shit like that.
Yes, yeah. Like super cringy stuff. Find it dead funny. So there's some nice stuff in there. Like if you want like a gift for somebody, some of them can be good. They got some nice pieces in there. Depends what you're after.
It does depend what you're after. How about on variety amongst something like the food aspects? Obviously, festivals have changed so much since I was first going back in like 2008, 2007, where gourmet burger was a £6 burger that had a tomato in it, and it was considered gourmet because it had tomato in it, a fresh tomato. Nowadays, you're talking about a wide array of vegan options and stuff like that. Do you find the food stalls at Bloodstock kind of cater to your needs?
I mean, they do, as well as any other festival, I think. I'm not really particularly like limited in my diet, I suppose. I like a lot of the vegan places, like the falafel wrap place next to the New Blood.
Yeah,
good place. I like that place a lot. I remember like nearer the end of the festival, they were just running out of stuff, and like I got one. It was just so bare bones, and I was like, "Wow, this is really depressing."
Yeah, that was right. I remember last year, not great.
Yeah, because we both got one at it was a Sunday, and we were just like, "This is shit."
Yeah. Well, we'd had a really good one from the same place on the first day there, and it was really good.
Yeah. So I hope they are everywhere has supply chain issues in it. Nearer to the end because of COVID, I think. Hopefully, it's a bit better this year.
I think so. I think part of it was that there was a lot more people at Bloodstock because it was the only festival that was really going on.
Yeah, because the download pilot had happened, but it was a way smaller capacity.
Yep, absolutely. There was nothing else going on around that time. It was Bloodstock was able to get through.
Slam Dunk was delayed to September.
Yep, that was
But
it.
even then, their crossover audience is not there at all.
No, I'd be very surprised if it was. What about some of the other things? Have you ever had any bad experiences or good experiences with things like toilets, that sort of aspect? The booze, getting drinks.
Bar can be the bar like the Dio bar, is it, or something? It's the Lemmy bar, isn't it?
Lemmy bar, yeah, the main one, yeah.
Yeah. Super big queues, and you got those benches where people just sit on them, and it's like 4 people bench, and you've got like 10 people at it. So they just block the entrance, and they make it kind of like hard. I think you just move those benches somewhere else, because they make it kind of difficult to get into. You ended up like getting like choke points trying to get in and out. I like that they were just doing the milk cartons. That makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I forgot about the milk cartons. God.
Yeah, that was the reason I got so pissed on Saturday. Because it was like, as opposed to having a pint, I've got an entire milk carton of it.
Yeah. What about your experience then in VIP? Because that's not really where you've only ever been and will only ever be.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I like the bar there. It's nice. I like the little cover it's got. The general area is nice. It's nice to sit there in the morning, get a coffee. That little shitty breakfast place in the actual like camping area where they're like, you want to bacon bat? That'll be £8, and you're like, oh, this has got like one bit of bacon in it, a little bit of bread, and I feel so cheated. It's nice, but God, it's expensive.
But do you feel as though, and I realize you don't have a comparative for you, but maybe compare it to something like, not necessarily Bloodstock, because I've never been to normal standard camping in Bloodstock, so I've not got a comparative, but I have been to other festivals, like, and so Download is a good example, perhaps, where you feel like the VIP does feel more important. Not more important, does feel, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, better?
I mean, I imagine it would be. It's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah, but your comparison to perhaps standard camping in something like Download, where you have done, compared to like the smaller, more, the closeness to the stages that we've got in VIP and stuff like that.
I have only had the one camping experience in Download, and I don't really have an issue with it. We were only there for the one day, I think.
Yeah,
like Bloodstock's the only one I've ever done. That's like full whatever weekend. I mean, it's like last year it was like Wednesday to Sunday or something.
yeah,
Stupid.
Yeah.
It was really long. By Sunday I was fucking exhausted.
We all were.
Yeah, no. I don't really have much to compare it to, so there's not much I can say there. I mean, I was looking at the map and I was like, yeah, it does look a lot closer. I would imagine it would be better.
No, that's all right. I guess the bigger question is, are you excited for the festival this year?
I'm pretty excited. There's a couple bands I'm dead excited to see. Before
we get into that, then kind of like what's kind of like your favorite thing about the build-up? Like as we get right close to it, and we're talking within the week, so like it's the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday before we go.
It's a really specific thing. It's that your pile of stuff that you keep near the windows.
Yeah.
For some reason, that always just gets me a little bit excited. I'm like, yeah, cool. Seeing all the stuff you like collect for it is like really cool, and that always gets me a little bit excited.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool because we've literally been in the last week buying replacements for certain things and aspects like that, and we've pretty much got everything except like food bits and drink bits. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there,
The little pile is growing.
Yes, it is. That's goes the most exciting thing as well. It's one of those things where it feels like it's still so far away, but then it's going to be here before we even know it, and that's really fucking cool.
I've got a bit of a fucked week beforehand. I'm going up to Manchester to play a show, and then next day going down to Birmingham, then coming down to London so I can come see you like on your birthday, because I'm doing like 6th, 7th of August shows, coming back down to London, and then like the next week we're going all the way back up. So
you've got plenty of time to rest, in between that. Don't worry about my birthday. Okay, obviously the most important thing about Bloodstock is bands. Now, we're not going to go through the lineup because ultimately there'll be too many that potentially you don't know, things like on the New Blood and stuff like that. But what we're going to do is jump to the stages and do it by day. And I want you to pull out 1 or 2 bands off each stage that you're most looking forward to and why. So starting with the Thursday, the 5 bands that are playing on the Thursday in the Sophie stage. Basically, Mother Vulture, Nano of Steel, Necrogoblicon, and Dark Tranquility. What's your thoughts? Is anything standing out there for you?
Nano of Steel.
Yeah, man.
Obviously, we did a reaction to them like almost 3 years ago when we were doing loads of videos together.
Yeah.
Like in person. We did what was it? The Gargoyle song.
Yep.
And I hope they play it because that's a banger.
Yeah.
I do know of Mother Vulture, and the name Basement Torture Killings is kind of getting me excited. They seem a bit like hardcore-y. They're probably not, but
I know them well, so I'll leave that up to your judgment. Okay, and that's not bad considering there's a couple of bands on that one. All right, let's jump to the Friday. Well, anything jumping out on the Jägermeister or New Blood?
Scroll down really quickly. New Blood. I don't know any. The only thing I know on New Blood is I Fight Bears.
Okay, cool. That's something.
I don't know anything. That's because you told me about them the other day.
Yeah.
I listened to them and I was like, oh, they're all right. I'm happy to see them.
Okay, then. Then go to the Sophie stage. What's jumping out of you for what are you interested in on the Sophie stage of the Friday?
Sleep Token, one of my favorite bands of all time.
Really?
I'm really excited to see them, and I'm interested to see how they mesh with the Bloodstock crowd. But I'm dead excited to see them. Party Cannon as well, because they've meant to be there like both years, and both years just like not. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, last year they were supposed to be there, and I don't know, whatever reason they had to pull out at the last minute.
I've got no idea what that bottom logo says. I think it is. But I know I Hate Gods. Honestly, it'll be a day of like, I'm excited for Sleep Token, but it will be a day of me being like, I'll check them out because their name sounds kind of cool.
Okay, sticking with Sleep Token specifically then, are you not expecting, so I'm expecting the tent to be rammed because Sleep Token are a curiosity for a lot of people. And they may not be rammed come the end as people watch a bit and then bugger off, but I think it's going to be quite a surprise, particularly as obviously nobody else is playing when Sleep Token are.
I can see that, definitely. Yeah, I think I'm not really bothered about it. I like Sleep Token a lot. I'm going to have a lot of energy at seeing it Friday. I imagine I won't be totally sober by that point either. So,
yeah, I'm interested to check them out too. Okay, what about the main stage on the Friday then? I think this, knowing your taste, I think this might be where you probably have least interest, right?
There's one band I would like to see on the main stage on the Friday. Like, I'll go out my way to see it, Bloodywood.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. I listened to them and I was like, these guys are kind of interesting.
Well, they mix new metal, thrash, and Indian traditional sound music.
Yeah, I was like, this is really cool. I really like when people kind of put their culture into their music.
I like it.
Same with like how I'm like, Mole singing Danish more. It's cool. Bloodywood are cool.
No, I like Bloodywood as well. Yeah, I agree with that. What are you? Do you care about the headliner Behemoth?
No, not really. I often find with Bloodstock, I'm like, cool headliners. I don't really care. Like, I think I spent too much time being like, oh, the headliners, got to go see them. But if I don't want to see the headliners, I don't want to see the headliners. Like,
of course,
it is what it is.
Of course, absolutely. It's a lineup. It's not. No ticket should ever be sold on headliners alone.
No, I'll probably check out a little bit of them though, at least.
Yeah. You will if you would have asked for sure. All right, Jägermeister and New Blood on the Saturday. Anything jumping out? Anything that you're aware of?
Oh my god! I just clicked off the lineup. Oh my god! 1 second. Oopsies. Jägermeister. What an interesting name. I think I know Master Charger. I've heard that name somewhere. Nothing is. I'm pretty sure I've heard of Collapse the Sky as well. Generally, if I've like heard of something or if it sounds familiar, I will check it out because I'm like, I've heard of you somewhere. Or if I see a logo I really like this one at the bottom, Silent, they're playing in the New Blood stage.
Yep.
I pick bands I want to see in really odd ways.
There's nothing wrong with that, but it's a good way of potentially just even it is checking them out, provided it doesn't clash with something. Because then, of course, we hit the Sophie stage on the Saturday. And I think there's a few more that jumps out here for you, right?
Yeah. You got like Mastiff, Pupil Slicer, Blood Youth, Malevolence. Dead excited to see Malevolence back on that Sophie stage as well. That'd be good because they played the main stage last year, I believe.
Oh, it was, wasn't it? I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, another headline in Sophie stage, and I'm like, yes, good.
Yeah, that start of the morning on the Sophie stage, Mastiff and Cage fight is quite tasty.
Cage fight as well. Yeah, cage fight as well.
Okay, what about
the Sophie stage is really standing out to me this year.
I think I'm in agreement with you. A lot of the bands I actually want to see are actually on the Sophie stage more than anything else. But what about the main stage for the Saturday?
There is Lorna Shore and Barry Tomorrow, and I would like to see a bit of Dimmy Borgir because I've known about them for fucking ages.
Interesting. Okay, you missed out. I'm surprised you're not interested in Ginger.
They were there last year, and I didn't have any interest in them then either.
They pulled out last year.
Did they? No, I can swear that I literally watched them play.
They weren't that. Yeah.
No, they were.
No, I'm sure they pulled out last year. No, both checking.
No, they did. Yeah. Oh, my bad.
Don't know who you saw then. Oh, do you think you saw Venom Prison?
No, because I watched Venom Prison. I went out of my way to watch them.
Does that change things then? That you haven't seen them?
Not really. I need to have a listen to them. But I just don't know them. That's literally it. It's not like I've got anything against them.
I'm glad you said Lorna Shore though, because that's a band I'm really looking forward to. I don't quite share your interest in Dimmy Borgir, but that's purely because I've seen Dimmy Borgir before and I've seen them shit the bed and do brilliant stuff. And in fact, the last time I saw them was shitting the bed at Bloodstock. So,
I'm not sure if I like them. It'll be like if I watch them and I'm like, this is not for me, then it won't be for me. But I will go out my way to at least check them out.
What's gone wrong with Bury Tomorrow for you?
I think they've been doing the same thing for way too long, and it's kind of getting a bit boring. I thought when their clean singer left the band, they would change up the sound, but no, they just got a guy that sounds exactly like him. And I'm like, you literally had it handed to you on a silver platter. The thing is, I can't even be mad at them because their main harsh vocalist is such a nice dude.
Yeah.
He works in like the NHS and mental health services, and he has always been really, really nice to me. Like supporting my art and stuff. So I will see them because I still like Bury Tomorrow. Just their new album. I say new. It was 2 years ago at this point. I think when it was released in that like super COVID-y time, I wasn't super into stuff. It got delayed, and it was just a bit kind of disappointing in the end.
Interest has waned. Your interest has waned.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
but it might come back if they release a really good album coming up. Like they've been dropping some new singles, and they're good. They are good.
They are good.
There's nothing disgusting and horrible about them. Just they're good.
Yeah, it's one of the. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Unless they're clashing with something you desperately want to see, you're still going to try and check them out. Yeah, exactly. I have to ask then, what any interest or curiosity with the headliner Merciful Fate?
No, literally none at all.
This was that was a given. I barely got interest. You see what I mean? So like, I'd be very surprised if you did.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's one of those where I'm like, I'm going to watch a bit of it on the basis that I will now have seen Merciful Fate, but that's probably about where it ends for me,
Yeah.
Sunday then, Jägermeister and the New Blood. What's anything jumping out at you?
I actually know Acid Throne. They played with one of my you've met Connor, Phil Shame.
Yeah.
And they played with Phil Shame, so I know Acid Throne.
Cool.
So I'll check out a bit of them because I'm like, good on you guys for getting that slot. New Blood, I can't say anything stands out to me there.
Okay. Then the Sophie stage.
What are you looking
at this?
Guilt Trip and Harriet. Two banging bands. And probably a bit of Orbit Culture as well, so I recognise the name.
All right.
But Harriet, I'm excited for.
Yeah, I'm a big Harriet fan. Saw him play with Roland Tomasi and People Slicer a few months back.
Yes.
Yeah, in the last year. And I thought they were great. Again, there's an interview on the site for that. Go check them out. They were cool people. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Main stage then.
Purely out of interest, I'd like to see Cattle Decapitation because I've heard a lot about them. but there is not much for me moving up that bill.
Not even the headline of Lamb of God.
Nah, man. Not really.
Do you think you're going to be, in regards to when you've got these big gaps where the men everything, that you're going to be willing to sort of take recommendations? So, for example, like there's a band that, like on that Sunday on the main stage, Life of Agony, that I would expect you to really like. So I'm kind of like, okay, that's the sort of thing, stuff like that.
If you expect me to like them, then I'll check them out. Yeah, I'm not going to be like, fuck off, no.
No, obviously, we're going to sit in the corner and cry because you haven't got no bands to see. What is, and this might be a bit of an unfair ask, but we'll try it. What is the number one band you're most excited to see?
Ooh. Oh man, it's kind of split between like three. So that's quite difficult.
Say the three and then we'll break it down.
Probably Harriet, Malevolence, and Sleep Token.
Right, eliminate Malevolence because you've seen them live before.
I've also seen Sleep Token live before.
There you go, then Harriet, because you've never seen it live, right?
I have not seen Harriet live.
That kind of has to make it. That should make it the number one, because you know, while you may not get the same level of show as you might get with Sleep Token or Malevolence being headliners. It's a.
I know Harriet are gonna slap.
Don't. Yes, they're going to.
I did it to annoy you specifically.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, it's just terminology. No, I get that. Like, it's nice that there are bands there that you do really want to see, and that ultimately as well, that like your criticisms of the lineup aren't criticism in the sense that you're like it's bad and that's disappointing. You're still going on the basis that no, there aren't loads of bands there for me, but there is a ton of opportunities to be curious and potentially see things that take your fancy.
Yeah, I'm really like into kind of vaguely shit hardcore at the minute, so there's plenty of that here. I'm sure I'll catch bands that I'm like, I've never heard of them. That always happens with Bloodstock, that I catch bands that I'm like, oh, I've never heard of these. These guys are really good. Apart from that one band, Pemphigoid. I did not like them. Sorry, Pemphigoid. I will still remain adamant that I do not like you.
No, fair enough. That's fine. You can't.
I even remembered their name. That's how much I hated it.
No, I think as well we had a discussion about it afterwards as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we ran into one of the members, and I was like, oh.
All right, last one then, and this is really Jawbone related. Obviously, Jawbone is your band. It probably sounds like a really stupid thing because I think the obvious answer is well, yes. But man, would you like to see Jawbone play Bloodstock at one stage? New Blood, Jägermeister.
Yeah, man, definitely.
I
don't totally vibe with the. Sorry?
I was saying, do you think it's worth working towards it?
I don't totally vibe with the Battle of the Bands thing, because I've not heard the best of things about how they're run and how they work.
That depends on the territory, which one's doing it, to be fair.
It does. I don't know where we'd actually go because obviously we are London-based primarily.
You've got a choice of two then, really?
Yeah. I feel like we're a very stage showy band. We're much better live than we are on record, I think. We massively improved after the Black Heart gig. We got that way tighter. We've rehearsed loads. We've got a bunch of stage showy stuff, you know. And yeah, I would love to play it at some point. It'd be a very fun time if we get on that sweet. I think Jägermeister would be perfect for us. Small, compact. It's kind of what we love. We love the tiny venues.
Thing is, it's not impossible, Dan. You just got to play the game a little bit sometimes. You know, we've seen it with bands who have tried to get from out to the masses of a specific territory several times over the years and then eventually get there. So it's more than doable. And obviously every year there's a wide selection and stuff like that. You, in theory, would have a choice to take part in the Kent and the London ones. And ultimately the whole, it's who brings the most mates only works up to a certain point in that competition. So again, if you improve, you get more music out there, you play more live shows. It's not impossible. I'd love to see it. That would be quite a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I presume everyone there would have to come check us out. Yeah, we're doing obviously more London shows. We're going we've played London a lot recently. Obviously, our last show it had a really good turnout for us. We ended up pretty much selling it out, which was really nice.
Yeah.
which was that was like 80 people or something stupid. So we're going for a bigger venue next time. We're going back to one we've played before, like my favorite venue in London, and I'm really excited for it. Sneak peek for anybody watching this video.
There you go. That's a little bit of Dan's thoughts on the festival this year. I try to keep quiet as much as I can and not offer my thoughts on the lineup because that's elsewhere. Obviously, a little closer to the time, we'll have some top 10 bands to see and probably one last big final lineup talk through once the full thing is complete, because we still have some New Blood bands and Jaeger bands to be added here. But the majority is complete, provided we don't get too many more bands pulling out or having to cancel for whatever reason. It looks like what we see right now is what we're going to get. That's cool. Yeah. You got any thoughts on what Dan's been talking about? You know what to do. Drop them in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal, what else is life for?